Right, well, good evening. I'm Simon Lovesey, and I think we're on Restart Sailing Show 50, amazingly. All involved tonight are out sailing, I think, and so the bandwidth's a bit limited. We're all on the coast where inevitably the bandwidth's not good, but apologies, but it is the sailing scene. I'm joined by John Emmett.
Yeah, that's great to be here. Who'd have thought? It's show 49, and now it's really all about sailing.
Yes. Right. So in today's
historical purposes, I figure it will be good in a few years' time if we sort of look back and how it all went, and then maybe the next pandemic in 30 years' time we'll have a bit of deja vu.
Well, we did.
It's so good to talk to Ian Walker, and it's really about his role for the RYA, how he sees the future of sailing, participation, grassroots, this sort of thing, and his new role for North Sail. So he's coming to us recorded live from Cowes, Isle of Wight, another Weymouth at the RS Aero. Although I think an Aero 7 I may have discovered another boat which I'm still too small for, but there we go.
And I'm down in Mounts Bay with the Merlin Rockets. So we're all three corners of the south coast.
And the coaching topic, proper preparation, because sailing is such a hard sport to prepare for, and there's always unexpected eventualities.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah, well, I think we've been through all the low stuff. If we could just have a very, very quick look at the COVID numbers, it's good to see the cases are down. Always just to be, accurate. Do have to say there's a lot less testing. But as far as I'm aware, everything is now carrying on as normal in the UK, so we can have lots of chat about sailing. I'll say again, I've really enjoyed the RS Games. It's just so nice to be having these big events, and sometimes you don't have good deaths, and we do take this very seriously. There's a 28-day lag from the number of COVID cases, but we can see that we're nowhere near those terrible times we had before. There is some still international competition not going ahead. We're going to have the ILCA World Championships hosted in the USA because China's doors were closed. But generally speaking, everything is cracking on.
Yes, and looking ahead to the winter, Andy Rice and I managed to announce the 8-9 dates for this winter. Hopefully, for the first time in 3 years, we might get a full quota. Obviously, winter's a more challenging period. COVID's not going away, but I think with all the good work that everyone's done, particularly again with Ian and the REA, that the procedures are in place for really things to carry on. Right, so. Welcome to Ian. Let's just press a few buttons here.
This is the technology and the bit where I always hold my breath. So, absolutely brilliant to see you. Just describe the background for people who don't know.
Hi guys. I'm actually I'm lucky enough to be staying. I'm staying with my daughter here in the house, and we're staying with her from school.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, she lives right on Egypt Point, and as you can see, we've got Solent behind us, and that's just come out. So. Yeah, amazing. I can't believe how the weather has been at all the events this year, and it's just been staggering. And Cowes is following on with brilliant wind all week. So 2 days left.
Good.
Just tell us how it's gone so far, and then we're going backwards in time, as it were.
Yeah, so I'm sailing on a boat called Dark and Stormy, and that's a fast 40. We've got 4 of those in our class, IRC 0, and. Yeah, so far so good. We won the Britannia Cup this week. We're about 3 points ahead with a couple of days left. Sailing with a lot of old friends. I've not sailed a keelboat for quite a long time because I've been head down, in the office at the RYA. And that was to sail with my daughter, who's doing the mid bow, so she's doing all the hard work. She's covered in bruises, and he's putting me to shame on the nightclub and social front as well, because I'm getting a bit old. But look, Cowes Week, I can't remember the last time I did Cowes Week, but such a fun week, and it reminds me that it's all about people you meet, social. You don't need to do 4 races a day. It's one good race, and we just have a great time. Really good sort of father and daughter week.
Yeah, family. So back in a lot of people got involved. Can you just talk a little bit with your the role of the RWA, because you were stepping in at a time when the pandemic came. It was a very difficult time to get going. What your thoughts were that? The games and everything, it seems a time ago, but it'll always be there.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, it's just been such a crazy time. I mean, even tonight or today, I was in the yacht haven in Cowes, and I met an old friend from France, and they kind of went up to kiss each other on the cheek, and it was like, oh, I'm not sure we should be doing this, but of course, we can. What a crazy time we've lived through. I mean, I started the RWA a couple of years before, but in reality, I was there 5 years, and heavily influenced by COVID. And actually, if I look back, I'm really proud that we took quite an aggressive stance in terms of let's just get back on the water. Like, you've got to be kidding me! It's to go sailing, but it was really hard work to persuade the powers that be, and the DCMS, the Department of Culture, Media and Sport. But I'm proud that we got sailing back quickly, and I think now that we all look back on it, it's kind of tempting to think what was all the fuss about, but of course the reality is a lot of people died, and a lot of it has only been able to happen because of vaccination. Of course, the diseases, the virus has mutated, and it's less impactful than it was. But I'm also very cognizant of the fact that a lot of people are still suffering from the effects of COVID, and in fact, a very close family friend of mine who was super fit, is still really debilitated from the long lasting. So it's not something that we can just kind of look back on and say, well, what we all think, we didn't need to do any of that. I think, and you guys as well for sharing the messaging and getting it out there.
I mean, the thing that's sometimes these things don't hit home until it's somebody you personally know really well. And in terms of the international scene, I'm very pleased to be in a country that has a really good vaccination program with highly effective vaccines, and now actually quite a lot of natural immunity, so that we can be talking about the RS Games and Cowes Week and all these things going forward. And it'd be really interested to know now. Hopefully, we've got more than light at the end of the tunnel. We're definitely looking, in a good place now. What do you see for the future of sailing? Because it's so important to get bums on boats, and I think a lot of people, from a mental health point of view, if not physical point of view, really missed it the last couple of years.
Yeah, I will admit I'm really torn, because I think sailing should be really well placed because of, as you say, the benefits it can bring to mental health. The fact it can be really inclusive, and I'm talking inclusion in all its forms: age, sex, diversity in all its forms. But at the same time, I just feel the sport is generally got more expensive, less accessible, and it's kind of been heading a little bit down a dead end, and that can only lead to less participation. We look at Cowes this year, there's probably half as many boats as there was in the peak, and likewise around the island race. So I'm still really nervous about the future of sailing. I think it's a lot of societal shift that has gone against the sport. More opportunities, less time, less disposable income. We know there's a recession coming. We can't kid ourselves. And they're all really strong headwinds.
Yeah, in my mind, the time, with time-intensive sport, and the financial pressure, because that's one of the things that goes first during a recession, is people's disposable income for leisure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I think also the sport's changed in so many ways. I think it's become more physical. The boats have become more demanding. We're all excited about foiling, and it's great. I spend my time wing foiling when I'm not sailing. But that's not very accessible if you don't know how to sail. That seems a long way away. And of course, things get ever more expensive because of the development of new materials. You can't just build the wooden boat in your front room like they used to do 40 years ago and go sailing. So, it's really difficult. But I think what we've got to really do is focus on the benefits of the sport. You've only got to look around Cowes at the number of different ages, the people having a good time. And I think that's the way forward, really, is thinking about the community that sits behind the sport, the volunteer ethos of the clubs. That's I think, the strong point of the sport.
And can you tell us about your new role? The hat is a bit of the cap is a bit of a giveaway. In fact, you can show us your T-shirt for your boat as well. You've got.
I got the darkest storm for me.
There we go.
Yeah, when you're as bald as me, you always have to wear a cap, which hopefully is going to save me from skin cancer in my old age. But yeah, so I'm really excited. Well, I started on Monday. I'm a few days into my new role as the general manager at North UK. I can't say I've contributed much yet to the role. I've been mainly racing with one of our customers in Cowes. I did buy some coffees for the lads and lasses who've been working very long nights. It's been quite windy at Cowes, so I think they finished at 5 in the morning repairing everybody's sails the other night. So yeah, I think I'm starting on Monday.
Okay. So maybe too soon to say, but just just sort of hopes and aspirations type thing.
Well,
and what attracted you to the role? This is. Yeah.
What attracted me to the role? I think I've always looked to new challenges. I've been at the RWA 5 years. I'm a big believer that if the people at the top don't move on, then other people can't grow and move in. You don't get new ideas. And it was part of a wider plan to kind of restructure my department at the RWA. So that was one of the reasons why it was a good time to leave. Obviously on the back of really good success in Tokyo as well, and really wanting Mark Robinson, manager, who did such a fantastic job to step up. And I mean, North is just a fantastic company. It's the company, isn't it? If you're looking internationally at successful marine companies, then Norths are the brand. They are the benchmark. They got fantastic people. They invest in technology, and I want to learn something new, and it is all new. And I make a habit of stepping into things where I'm leading a team of people who know a lot more than me, whether it's the American Cup,
that sounds very smart.
So yeah, I guess I'm on the block. I've been learning to run sales. I think I need to make sales, order sales, price sales, and of course Norths do a lot more than sales. So I think that's what excites me, is the new challenge. It's just like Olympic sailing. I was 470. I did the Star and moved on. So Gilbert. I don't like hanging around. I like moving on while I'm still young enough to do so.
Yeah, no, and having that enthusiasm. I mean, I think it's important when we look at sailing club committees or class association committees that the people who are doing the roles really want to be doing it. And it's you mentioned the RWA. What would you sort of hope that they achieve there? They've restructured. I saw there was recently an announcement with Nick Scott joining. And as you say, Mark stepping up. What do you think? It's only 2 years to Marseille now, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think, without telling tales out of school, I had a dual role. I was, on the one hand, I was overall responsible for the British sailing team and the Olympic programme, but really I was pretty detached from that. Mark Robinson, as the Olympic manager, was leading that, and he did a fantastic job in Tokyo, as did the team. And then I had this other hat, which was all about, this director of racing of the RWA, and my real key messaging to my team was always like, look, we've got to support the clubs, we've got to support the classes, we've got to keep people sailing. If we just invest in the elite all the time, then in the end there won't be anybody sailing. So it's trying to get that balance. And so I was really keen that they thought about separating those roles. I'm really pleased to see that happen. And so Mark can fully focus on Olympic success, and then and come in and really think about the pathway, clubs, classes, and we need a healthy sport. Right? I need a healthy sport as general manager of North UK. Sailing, and so I'm still passionate about that. Just I'm not there anymore. Even when I'm at North, my manager will still be, we've got to support events, we've got to support clubs, we've got to support classes, because if we have fewer and fewer people sailing, then we're not going to sell as many sails, and it won't be like we all remember, right, when we all grew up.
Yeah, because it's a catch-22. Success breeds success, and keen clubs bring more people in. You look at classes, you can see that the club where you have a really keen fleet captain, suddenly they have huge numbers of that boat sailing there, and I guess it's exactly the same on a wider picture.
I mean, there's never a truer word spoken. It's volunteer run, isn't it? You get a junior parent who's keen, and all of a sudden you got 50 kids in the junior section. Same thing on the social community, same thing with evening racing. I mean, my current club, Warsash, one of my current clubs, somebody had to get adult sailing lasers on a Thursday night, and all of a sudden we've got like 20-30 lasers in the club because people were given the confidence to go racing, which they wouldn't have had. They felt supported, they felt they were part of a community and a group, and they had a beer after a glass of wine, rosé, whatever. And so I just think that that's something that actually we underestimate. I think we put a lot of emphasis on junior and youth, and I think we need to think a little bit more about that 18 to 35 year age group, and investing in developing, adult sailing as well as junior and youth sailing. Yeah, which is hard for the RWA, John. It's hard for the RWA. For spending RWA money on junior and youth sailing, Olympic sailing. Well, we're not currently. We're spending government money, who are giving us that money either to get Olympic success, in the case of the Olympic, or to reach targets in terms of activation in the general population to reduce obesity and to benefit the NHS. So it's very often the RWA are reacting to what is being sort of mandated from above, and the funding is associated with it. So
it's a specific pot of money for a specific task.
So and that often is, I didn't understand that until I went away.
Yeah, no, I get that. I really get that. And, we should all be looking at win-win. Just because somebody gets something, it doesn't mean that somebody else gets this. We should just do everything that we can to get as many people sailing. And I think the volunteer thing, it's quite hard, because sometimes people were keen to volunteer, but don't know how. And many hands. Well, and
COVID has had a massive influence on that. COVID has really, I think one of the things of COVID is it's impacted different clubs in different ways, and different classes in different ways. And that's going to take time to shake out. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, single-handed sailing suddenly became very accessible. Maybe people who wouldn't have had the confidence to do that did it.
But some class, the toppers didn't have a nationals for 2 years, I don't think. And whereas other classes maybe did, but in part was because their nationals was in Northern Ireland, which obviously was much more problematic than Weymouth, as an example, where I think the lasers were. So, everyone's had a different experience, and we can't generalise. And we just got to try and move forward in the best way we can.
I'm very pleased to say the toppers are at Weymouth and Portland National Sailing Academy soon, so hopefully they're going to have a good forecast.
Well, they had a great. I was talking to a friend who took some kids to Garda. It's a big Warsash contingent, and I've never sailed in Garda. I've never sailed in Garda. So there's all these kids.
Wow.
And their claim to fame now is they've sailed in Garda and I haven't. I've got to put up with that down the club every week.
Well, that's got to be a box ticked in 2023, sure. Somehow.
The 400. Quite like I have a 400. So the problem is I don't like leading out. You've got to lean out. It's one-way track. So I'm so keen on leading out.
But don't you have to lean out all the time in the 400?
Well,
unless maybe
you can make up with it. I can make with it some shifts sometimes, but
okay.
Right.
Well, so much for time, and I do have on a little jealousy to be in Cowes, and I'm just going to do a very quick coaching slide, which I think it's exactly what it says on the tin, isn't it?
Yeah. Be prepared.
Proper preparation. I wasn't sure whether I was allowed to put in a.
I've been in the beer tent. I couldn't say that, John. I couldn't say all those P's in a row. I have no chance.
But I just think it's so.
You're missing a word on you between prevents and.
Yeah, I ummed and ahed about that. I can't deal with the internet trolling. But I think we've sort of got out of the habit of thinking ahead and booking the international stuff, booking accommodation flights, because there was just so much uncertainty. And I think this is one of the things we need to get back to, having good preparation, and especially for sailing, we always need to control the controllable. So many things which are yourself, the time and the backup plan. We've had it with the Restart Sailing Show, the last two shows. One of us has got caught out of a racing day that's lasted a bit longer than expected, and that's what it's all about. And that's it from me.
Right. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and happy sailing.
Hopefully, see you on show 50. Please remember to like, subscribe, share.